a bunch of lies, you stupid piece of
Stop.
You threatened my life, you
Just stop.
you
This is Ricky Hand.
You just give me 40 years, sir.
Yes.
You just gave me 40 years. Well, guess what?
Sir, don't say something.
Who's facing multiple charges of robbery in Ohio. Late one night in April 2016, the owner of John's drive-thru was preparing to end his shift. Unknown to the man, his business was about to be targeted. 46-year-old Hand, a known career criminal, attempted to rob John's drive-thru that night. However, the store owner was already armed and ready after seeing Hand approach on security cameras. The man shot at Hand multiple times and the perpetrator fled the scene. The owner then called 911.
911 emergency.
Yeah, this is John's drive-thru, West Main Street. A guy just tried to rob me and I shot him. He ran out the back door.
Okay, is he injured?
I think I hit him.
Police arrived and traced Hand to a nearby hospital, where he was arrested. Hand later confessed to the robbery attempt.
I did try to rob John's drive-thru. Got shot 3 times. I did the crime. I ain't even gonna lie. I just wanted to let you know.
He also admitted his involvement in a series of other robberies.
There have been probably a half a dozen or more robberies. Now you're looking at John's, you're looking at this break into this beauty salon.
That's all I've done. I'm going to prison for a long time.
Well, you know that.
Eventually, he pleaded guilty to 7 robbery-related charges and was sentenced to 40 years in prison.
Did you just give me 40 years, sir?
Yes.
Hand was clearly expecting a lesser sentence, and what he did next shocked the entire courtroom.
You just gave me 40 years. Well, guess what?
Sir, don't say something.
You can't play Jesus and God? What's wrong with you? Man, 40 is a death sentence, man.
Ricky.
I just gave the people all that yeah, man. Man. Come on, man.
After learning his fate, Hand proceeded to fling hidden pill bottles filled with feces and urine at his own lawyer before being detained by court officers. Due to his antics, Hand faced additional charges of harassment with bodily fluids, obstructing justice, and retaliation. While Ricky Hand's biohazard bomb left everyone stunned, how does it compare to flying toward a judge in the courtroom, like in the case of Deobra Redden, who's facing charges of attempted battery in Nevada? On April 18, 2023, 30-year-old Redden was arrested after he allegedly attacked his brother-in-law with a baseball bat. Redden pleaded guilty and faced a possible sentence of 1 to 4 years in prison. At his sentencing, Redden had a calm and matter-of-fact exchange with Clark County District Judge Mary Kay Holthus.
Mr. Redden, is there anything you want to say on your own behalf before I pronounce sentence?
Basically, I would like to tell the courts everyone here, like, based on my criminal history, like, I feel that, like, I shouldn't be, like, sent to prison for a second time.
Have you looked at your criminal history? Have you looked at your criminal history?
I've actually just, I looked at it.
I mean, you lived it, I suppose.
I just looked at it,
Yeah.
Judge Holthus then reminded Redden of his criminal history.
3 felonies, a gross, 9 misdemeanors, multiple DVs. Got a lot going on, sir.
Yeah, I just figured, like...
Battery on a protected person, robberies, attempt home invasion.
Redden, who struggled with mental health issues like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, tried to convince the judge that he deserved a second chance.
I feel like I shouldn't be sent to prison, but if it's appropriate for you, then you have to do what you have to do. But I figured that, you know, if I'm in a better place in my life, I'm not doing drugs, I'm not out there committing crimes now, and I feel like I should be given a shot because I'm in a better place than I was.
but Judge Holthus was having none of it.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time to get a taste of something else because I just can't with that history.
This is when the defendant went nuts. Redden launched over the courtroom bench and headed straight for Judge Holthus. Eventually, deputies were able to restrain him. There was sheer chaos in the courtroom as alarms went off and people started calling for help.
That's affirmative. Medical is requested. Judge's chambers.
Yeah, be advised. 515's got a big laceration to his head. Judge hit her head into the wall, and I got an inmate that's bleeding up here.
It's going to be a positive transport to UMC for a marshal.
Be advised. I'm also going to need a biohazard cleanup for a lot of blood on the floor.
Thankfully, Judge Holthus was not seriously injured. Later, it was revealed that Redden had punched the judge several times and pulled out parts of her hair. However, one marshal had to be hospitalized and needed 25 stitches after suffering a forehead injury, as well as a dislocated shoulder. Heavily shackled and wearing a spit mask, Redden was in court again a few days later to learn his fate for his initial assault case.
Good morning. All right, this is on for the continuation of Mr. Redden's sentencing. For purposes of the record, I want to make it clear that I am not changing or modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted by defendant's actions. All right, that being said, in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court does now sentence you in addition to the $25 administrative assessment fee, $150 DNA fee, the $3 DNA administrative assessment fee, and $250 indigent defense fee, 19 to 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections.
Additionally, Redden faced 13 new charges for the attack on Judge Holthus, including attempted murder, battery, and extortion by threat. If convicted, he could spend decades behind bars. While Diablo Redden took out his anger on an unlucky judge, what happens when a convict gets into a deadly car crash while escaping justice?
I'm going to need multiple squads.
I need help, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Sit tight.
Like in the case of Cyrus Matthews, who's facing misdemeanor charges at the Wadsworth Municipal Court in Ohio.
I'm sorry for, acting immature on the road. I understand that, being on the road, you can have other people's lives over here. And, I should have thought about that.
The 19-year-old was just sentenced to 60 days in jail for a road rage case.
As well as, is there, any way that we can reverse this jail time?
Well, you're going to go to jail today. If you need to get out there, then the hearing would consider parole.
However, what Matthews did next left everyone stunned.
Okay, right now you're going to go to jail. Okay? You have to go to jail. Hey, call the police. Now in charge of escape, felony escape if he doesn't get back to this court.
After learning his fate, Matthews straight up just walked out of the courtroom. The judge threatened him with felony charges, but Matthews had other ideas.
You have to go to jail. Hey, call the police. Now in charge of escape, felony escape if he doesn't get back to this court.
The defendant had a moment of hesitation as the court bailiff tried to reason with him. However, as Matthews' girlfriend followed him out, the two ran over to the parking lot, got into their car, and escaped. Police sprung into action, and a high-speed chase ensued.
I saw him turn north onto Lyman from Maple. He was in an older gray four-door vehicle.
When police finally caught up with the suspect, they found a horrific scene. Matthews had crashed his car into another SUV, which had a couple and a toddler inside. Thankfully, they were not seriously injured.
All right, we're gonna have multiple vehicles, airbag deployment. Ma'am, are you okay? Okay.
As the gravity of his actions dawned upon him, Matthews broke down.
Officers, I'm gonna need multiple squads.
I need help, sir.
Okay.
Okay. They're tight.
What was going on? Why were you taking off?
Because they're trying to lock me up for 90 days and I have a whole life.
So what happened?
I tried to run my...
Why?
Matthews was further charged with aggravated felonious assault and sentenced to 425 days in jail. While Cyrus Matthews' courtroom escape turned out to be a painful lesson, what happens when a convict breaks down? Like in the case of Zaire Duffy, who was at the Lorain Municipal Court in Ohio for his sentencing. In May 2018, Duffy led police to a high-speed car chase through the city of Elyria.
He led officers on a chase, even slamming into a police cruiser at one point.
The 25-year-old had already escaped parole and was a wanted fugitive when he ended up crashing his car into a police cruiser.
Get out! Get down! On the ground! Face first!
About 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the video as Duffy is being arrested.
Duffy was arrested and charged with drug trafficking, gun possession, and leading police on a high-speed car chase. In court, the prosecution stated their case.
Judge, he has been involved in a number of offenses involving guns, drug trafficking, high-speed chases with the police. He has no regard for society. He has no regard for the police. He has posted on Facebook F12, which means F the police. He's uncooperative with the police.
Before being sentenced, Duffy was given a chance to defend his actions.
I was doing good, Your Honor. I really was. I was doing good. They just made me look like a monster. The person they just made me out to be, Your Honor, I'm scared of that person that they just tried to make me out to be.
The 8 cases you had in this courtroom showed to me that you were a potential menace to society.
Your Honor, I was doing good out there. I was not selling drugs. I wasn't doing none of that. I wasn't. I was trying to get my life on track, man. And this man just told me you're trying to give me 13 years. I'm having a heart attack. Your Honor, I'm sorry. Please don't sentence me to 13 years, Your Honor. Please don't.
While the defendant broke down in tears, Judge Jim Maraldi remained stern.
I think I've had plenty of time to, and you have not respected the court's order. I hung significant prison time over your head, and I made it very clear to you that the 8 cases you had in this courtroom showed to me that you were a thug, a potential menace to society. I gave you an opportunity. I gave you more than one opportunity. I gave you more opportunities than maybe I should have, because look at where we're here today. You put people's lives at risk, and I'm not going to allow that to happen anymore under my watch.
As Judge Maraldi started reading Duffy's rather long sentence, the defendant wiped off his tears and faced away from the judge.
And the defendant is found in violation of community control sanctions. 12 months on Lorain Correctional Institution on count 1.
Turns out those were just crocodile tears pouring out moments ago as Duffy looked towards the courtroom camera and winked.
3 years of optional post-release. On the 5th case, which was the judicial release case, 14 CR 089550.
Finally, it was time for Duffy to learn his fate.
The total sentence would be for 13 years and 4 months with credit for time served. You've already served some certain amount of time in prison.
Safe to say, the defendant didn't take the news well.
So you just gave me 13 years.
13 years and 4 months.
F3s, 4s, and 5s, bro.
That's
How
right.
is this a justice system, man?
It's justice because I gave you more opportunities. I'm talking right now. Oh, you don't, do you? Okay, there you go. So long, pal. I gave you more chances than anyone would have ever given someone with 8 cases. And this is how you behave. You deserve every month that you get.
You're strange. I love you.
All right, next case.
Eventually, all of Duffy's tearful efforts went to waste as he was ultimately sentenced to 13 years in prison. While Zaire Duffy's fake tears failed to convince the judge, how does it compare to throwing a tantrum in the courtroom?
That's 180.
Like in the case of Milton Watts, who was in court for failing to appear on a domestic violence charge. Things went off to a rough start when Judge Chris Green asked Watts about missing his court appearance.
You were supposed to be here last month. You did not appear. Why weren't you here?
I had work. My mom didn't show up. Somebody died in the family. There was no reason for me to be here.
Well, it's not an engraved invitation, son. It's a court order.
Judge Green initially showed some leniency. He asked Watts to hire a new lawyer, since the previous one had withdrawn from the case. But the 21-year-old continued this smug attitude.
I'm resetting it then for you. Your attorney withdrew, so you'll have to hire an attorney.
I don't need an attorney.
You're a lawyer?
Nope.
Do you want to talk to me about a bond with me? What do you want to tell me?
About what?
Bond?
Don't really give a fuck, to be honest with you.
Finally, Judge Green had had enough. He charged Watts with showing contempt of court.
That's going to cost you 30 days in the county jail for contempt. Cuff him, if you got the cuffs. Hold on, it's $5,000 cash surety bond, temporary, subject to the temporary protection order.
As the judge read out the charges, Watts started throwing a tantrum.
He just swore at the judge. Can I give you a piece of advice?
What?
You can either make life easy or you can make life hard.
Fuck it. I already ruined my life.
That's 60. You want to go for 90?
Fuck it.
That's 90 more.
Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it.
That's 180.
Fuck it.
That's 306.
I'm working at McDonald's. Now I gotta fucking come here and fuck my life. Fuck you.
Melvin, stop.
Judge Green tried to give some counsel.
How many days you want to give me now? Are you Sir County?
Yeah, I'm at about a year right now in contempt, so.
He's got mental problems. He's not on medication.
Ma'am, I don't care.
I don't give a either.
Watts had other ideas. He continued his rant as Judge Green kept on adding to the charges.
That's
Fuck it. Fuck.
That's 180. That's 306.
I'm working at McDonald's. Now I gotta fucking come here and my life. You.
Melvin, stop.
Watts' family members tried to intervene. There was no stopping the foul-mouthed defendant.
Yeah, so.
He's got mental problems. He's not on medication.
Ma'am, I don't care.
I don't give a either.
Melvin, stop.
Fuck everybody. Fuck you.
Melvin.
Fuck the power.
Good.
Fuck the power.
Good.
Fuck fucking saggy dick. Fucking bitch.
That's stupid. Melvin, stop. Stop it. You aren't even getting in trouble.
Fuck this dude.
Melvin, listen. You're going.
Who the fuck you keeps telling me fucking English?
Finally, backup arrived. Court deputies took Watts away as his family looked on with disappointment.
Stop.
Just let him do
Listen,
whatever he wants to do.
Melvin.
You don't want to listen.
Hey, I like your suit.
Thanks, man.
Melvin.
It's funny. Just let him do what you're not going to do anything. You're just causing more.
That's ignorant.
That's the way he is.
While Judge Green initially went up to 365 days in the heat of the moment, once everything calmed down, Watts was sentenced to 90 days in prison. While Milton Watts will be spending less time in prison than he bargained for, what happens when the judge throws a convict out of court?
You wanna fucking take my kids from me and act like that? You and that fucking bitch!
Like in the case of Alan McCarty Jr., who's facing charges of making death threats to a judge in Daytona Beach, Florida. In 2018, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office received an anonymous call.
Communications, Warhurst.
Yeah, I want to report a crime that's about to happen.
What do you mean a crime that's about to happen?
Yeah, there's about to be a crime that's going to happen if my kids don't come back to me, you stupid. Because your stupid judges don't want to bring people to courtrooms. I got a gun pointed at your building.
Sir, what is going on?
Who the are you calling, sir, you stupid? Don't your judge warn that. You gonna bring that out in handcuffs and I'm gonna execute that right in the street.
Okay, where are you at, sir?
Mother, I just told you I'm outside of her building waiting for her to get there in the morning. I'm gonna pop a cap in that, you stupid.
The man was later identified as 36-year-old Alan McCarty Jr., who falsely accused Circuit Judge Stasio Warren of taking his children away in a child custody case.
You wanna fucking take my kids from me and act like that? You and that fucking bitch. You loud with me? Is that what you're gonna do? No. Well then do it again. Come on. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to think over here.
Months later, McCarty was in court to answer for his crime.
I am not under oath. This is being done unconstitutionally. Y'all took my kids unrightfully. You want to allow my witnesses here. You want to allow my paperwork. Y'all took all my court paperwork. And when they all come in here, I'm going to say the same thing.
At his pretrial hearing, McCarty spent every moment in court with profanity-filled rants.
All right, back on the record, Mr. McCarty, President. He's under oath from the start of the trial.
No, I'm not. I'm not under oath.
All right, raise your right hand. I'm going to swear you in.
I'm not under oath.
That's your bad finger. I didn't appreciate that.
But Judge Matt Foxman gave him a warning.
Say to be quiet. You need to be quiet. There's not going to be a second time. If there's a second time, I'm going to duct tape.
I'm going to tell you, you just threatened my life to duct tape. Did everybody just hear that? You just threatened to duct tape me? Really? In the courtroom, a judge just threatened to duct tape.
No, I said
You just said on record you're going to duct tape me.
How about this? Let's talk about the record. I said I'm going to warn you once.
No, you said duct tape.
Yes, warn you once.
You said duct tape.
Yes. That's
So
what's
you're
going to happen.
admitting
after the warning.
to duct tape.
Yeah. You want to know why? Because I want to protect your right. Because my other option is to put you in another room. But then you can't communicate with your attorney even in writing. And I don't like that. So I'd rather duct
So
tape.
duct tape is legal.
McCarty continued to disrupt the proceedings.
No, I refuse. No, I refuse. I refuse. He threatened to duct tape me. He threatened to duct tape me. I refuse.
I didn't threaten.
Yes, you did. You admitted it on the thing. I'm scared.
I said if you don't behave.
Then you're going to duct tape me. I'm scared. Be removed from this room. The judge threatened my life.
You have a
I am scared. I want to be removed.
If you don't.
I would like to be removed from this room. The judge threatened my life and I want to press charges.
You have a constitution.
I have a constitutional right to press charges and you threaten my life. I want to be removed from this room. You threaten my life. I want to be removed. I am in fear of you. I am in fear of you right now and I want to be removed.
See you.
I want to be removed. Thank you.
See you on Thursday for your trial.
Bring the dress. You look sweet in it.
Then, when his trial began, McCarty was back to his belligerent best.
Quit wasting my time and bring him in.
Holly, make sure you take down what I say. He was sworn in on...
No, I was not sworn in.
Yes.
I've never been sworn in this court. Bring the camera back. He's making this up.
He's representing...
He is making this up. I was never sworn in. I have not been sworn in at all. You're a liar.
Judge Foxman calmly asked McCarty if he wanted to be present in the courtroom.
One, I need to know whether or not you want to be here during the trial process.
No.
All right. Do you want to testify though?
No, I don't. This is all being done unconstitutionally, unrightfully. Y'all are you ain't allowing my evidence. You ain't allowing my people.
But the foul-mouthed defendant continued to insult the judge and his staff.
My daddy owns the building and I look like a fucking idiot, huh? Brought your dress today, you little fucking prick. You want to fucking take my kids from me and act like that? You and that fucking bitch. You loud with me? Is that what you're gonna do?
No.
Well then do it again. Come on. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to think over here.
Be in the room or not?
Do you want to suck my...
I'd prefer not to, sir.
Well, you got a mouth for it.
No, do you want to be here or not?
Surprisingly, McCarty was removed from court and sat in a separate room.
It's not. Yes, sir. Alan, we're going to go right back there.
Take all my paperwork so I can't show these people? You want to take all my paperwork from me? Lock me in a cell fucking naked all night?
However, that room was not soundproofed.
Mr. McCarty's chosen to voluntarily absent himself as opposed to doing other. Sorry, we got to deal with it, folks. I've chosen that room as opposed to duct tape. He can watch and hear what we're doing.
Eventually, McCarty was found guilty of threatening a sitting judge. The following month, McCarty returned for sentencing, showing no signs of change or remorse.
You're on an order to show cause, which I would like to address first. First of all, McCarty, to show cause why I should not hold you in contempt for behavior that you demonstrated during the jury trial. Number one, you threatened the unborn child of the prosecutor directly in an open
What a
court.
bunch of you stupid piece.
Then also,
You threatened my life.
in the back room.
Suck my.
Needless to say, McCarty was once again sent to the back room.
I'm not standing.
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting. I'm just not
Stand
standing.
up.
I'm not standing. I don't have to stand. I hope you fall on that baby's head, you stupid. Never threaten that. Bring play back the shit, you stupid mother. Yeah, keep looking at me, boy.
Where he continued his profanity-filled rants from behind a mirror.
Because I know you can hear me in the back room.
Get out! Get the don't you pull on me! Get out! I'll get up, you mother. Don't be around my here. What you gonna do? You wanna get me?
Ultimately, McCarty was sentenced to 20 years in prison for his threats to kill Judge Warren.
These are a bunch of here. No. No, you're not taking my fingerprints. I'm not gonna let you. That's right. Don't touch me, and don't never touch my kids. Give me my law paperwork. Don't ever my kids.
While Alan McCarty Jr.'s explosive courtroom actions certainly didn't earn him any brownie points, how does it compare to spitting on a judge?
I have to see you for one further second. Step through the mirror here next to me.
Like in the case of 30-year-old Bass Webb, who's in court on attempted murder charges. CCTV footage outside of a Kentucky jail showed Webb, a former inmate who spent 3 months there, intentionally hitting 2 prison workers with his car. While one guy managed to dodge it, the other was not so lucky. Webb was arrested and produced in court before Judge Vanessa Dixon.
Can you order sign? Yeah. That be yes? Yes.
Since she knew 2 jail employees beforehand, Judge Dixon decided to recuse herself from the case.
I don't know when I want to try this case. I have any further proceedings, or I have to see you for one further second.
But what Webb did next shocked the whole courtroom.
Step through the mirror here next to me.
Webb spat on Judge Dixon, clearly taking her by surprise.
Step through the mirror here next to me. Charge me.
After initially dismissing him, Judge Dixon brought Webb back, charged him, and threw him out of her courtroom. Nevertheless, this is not the end of Webb's defiance of the law. While awaiting trial, Webb started a riot with other inmates inside the Fayette County Detention Center. Webb was shot with beanbag bullets and even hit in the neck with a pepper ball. In retaliation, Webb swung a metal telephone box at a corrections officer. He was charged again for his actions and sentenced to 15 years in prison.
We'll accept the jury's recommendation of 5 years on count 1, enhanced to 15 years pursuant to the persistent felony offender of first degree.
Additionally, Webb was convicted of attempting to murder the 2 jail employees and got an additional 37 years, facing a total of 52 years of jail time. While incarcerated, new evidence came up linking Webb to the unsolved murder of his ex-girlfriend, Bria Runowitz. To escape the death penalty, Webb pleaded guilty and got an additional 50 years in prison. Now, if that wasn't enough, 5 years later, another cold case came to haunt Webb. This time, he was charged with the murder of another ex-girlfriend, Sabrina Vaughn. Webb appeared in court with a sinister tattoo on his head. It had a murder hit list of all the people he intended to kill, including all judges, all prosecutors, all cops, the media, 3 rats that had been crossed out, and many more.
That must die above a list that included all judges, prosecutors, cops, the media, 3 rats that had been crossed out, and many more.
Despite his threatening tattoos, Webb was convicted of all charges.
You found the defendant guilty of the offense of intentional murder.
He was ultimately sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 25 years. While Bass Webb's audacious courtroom actions shocked everyone, what happens when a lawyer loses his cool?
Mr. Linder?
Judge, I'm recommending a $5,000 bond and no return.
You, Linder, who cares what you got? Mr. Miller, excuse me, but your microphone is on, and if we have one more outburst like that, we're going to be having a very serious discussion with your supervisor.
Like in the case of Henry Mitchell, who's facing charges of grand theft in Broward County, Florida. Mitchell was arrested after he allegedly stole $4,000 from a local restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. Now appearing via video conference, he was hoping to be released on a $1,000 bond.
Mr. Mitchell, good morning. Are you able to hear me all right?
Representing him was public defender Dale Miller, while Judge Corey Amanda Cawthon presided over the hearing.
All right, Mr. Mitchell, you're before the court this morning on 1 charge of grand theft. I do find probable cause, and I will first hear from the attorneys with their recommendations. We'll start with Mr. Linder.
Judge, I'm recommending a $5,000 bond and no return.
But when prosecutor Eric Linder recommended a $5,000 bond for Mitchell, things got pretty crazy. As Linder was making his argument, Miller appeared to turn off his camera, but not his microphone.
While I see no priors, I do believe this is obviously not your run-of-the-mill grand theft.
Oh, you, Linder. Who cares what you got? Mr. Miller, excuse me, but your microphone is on, and if we have one more outburst like that, we're going to be having a very serious discussion with your supervisor.
Cawthon immediately reprimanded Miller and demanded an apology.
I would expect that you would apologize to Mr. Linder right now.
However, after a brief pause, Miller had this to say.
I
apologize that my microphone was on, Judge.
You know, he should be sanctioned.
We'll be having a discussion with Mr. Goldberg after the session today.
Clearly flustered, Linder managed to finish his argument.
Grand theft. The strength of the evidence against Mr. Mitchell is abundantly strong, including but not limited to his confession. Your Honor, he plotted with his co-arrestee well in advance to not only steal over $4,000 from this business, but to set it up to make it look like there was an armed robbery. Your Honor, I would also note, by his own admission, he stole over $2,000 in cash from the safe from the business, and the cash has not been recovered. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Eventually, Judge Cawthon announced her decision.
Set at $3,000, and there will be an order of no return. Mr. Mitchell, that simply means you're not to go to that location for any reason. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
As for Miller, he was later forced to apologize for his courtroom outburst. While Dale Miller almost got his client's bond denied, what happens when you get into a wrestling match with a judge? Like in the case of Sidney Newsom, who's facing a domestic violence charge at Pike County Justice Court in Mississippi. Southern District Judge Aubrey Rhymes was presiding over the hearing. Newsom initially seemed to be in a good mood as he reviewed some papers. However, an altercation with a court officer agitated him. Newsom was then asked to sign some papers, which the officer presented to Judge Rhymes. However, Newsom was not ready to rest his case. He furiously argued with the judge, who promptly asked the officer to remove him from court. This is when Newsom lost it. First, he grabbed a stack of papers and threw it at Judge Rimes. The officer tried to subdue him, but Newsom managed to overpower her. He then threw a telephone at the judge. This is when Judge Rimes decided to take matters into his own hands. As Newsom threw more paper at him, the judge single-handedly pinned the defendant to the table. Eventually, backup arrived. Newsom was restrained and removed from the courtroom. He faced additional charges of contempt of court and served 48 hours in prison. While Judge Aubrey Rimes took justice into his own hands, what happens when a popular actor fakes a hate crime attack?
I am not suicidal, and I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago.
Like in the case of Jussie Smollett, who's accused of faking a hate crime attack in Chicago, Illinois.
Then, a shocking twist as Smollett.
In the early morning hours of January 29, 2019, Smollett, an actor in the hit TV show Empire, was attacked outside his apartment by two men who beat him up and hurled racial and homophobic slurs at him. When police arrived, they found Smollett with a noose, which he claimed the attackers put around his neck.
Do you want to take it off or anything?
Yeah, I do. I just want to see it. There's some bleach on me.
The actor also suffered injuries to his face. Smollett later gave an interview describing the attack.
I see the attacker masked, and he said, "This MAGA country punches me right in the face." There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back. It felt like minutes, but it probably was like 30 seconds, honestly. I can't tell you honestly. I noticed the rope around my neck and I started screaming. And I said, "There's a rope around my neck. They put a rope around my neck."
A thorough investigation was launched, and police identified the two men from several CCTV cameras. The two were also seen buying gloves and ski masks, which were later to be used in the attack. Brothers Abel and Ola Usundairo were arrested at the O'Hare Airport, trying to flee the country. However, what the two suspects later revealed rocked the entire Hollywood industry.
I paid $3,500 to stage this attack and drag Chicago's reputation through the mud in the process.
Turns out it was Smollett who had orchestrated the whole thing.
Defendant Smollett then stated that he wanted to stage an attack where Abel would appear to batter him. Defendant Smollett also suggested that Abel's older brother Ola assist him with the attack.
His motive? A boost to his faltering career.
Orchestrated by Smollett because he was dissatisfied with his salary.
Police found the actor had first attempted to gain attention by producing a fake letter filled with racial and homophobic abuse addressed to him.
In fact, the week before the attack, police confirm a letter was sent to the Fox studio in Chicago with threatening language and laced with powdery substance, likely Tylenol.
When that didn't work, he paid the Osendero brothers $3,500 and staged a fake attack on himself. Smollett was arrested and faced felony charges of filing a false police report. He was later convicted for his hate crime hoax. During sentencing, Judge James Lynn tore into the defendant.
The damage you've done to yourself is way beyond anything else that can happen to you from me. You are now a permanently convicted felon. Your very name has become an adverb for lying.
He called Smollett narcissistic and arrogant.
You wanted to make yourself more famous, and for a while it worked. Everybody was talking about you. The lights are on you. You were actually throwing a national pity party for yourself.
However, the disgraced actor remained unremorseful and maintained his innocence.
No, I would just like to say to Your Honor that I am not suicidal.
Okay?
I am not suicidal.
Okay?
I am not suicidal. I am innocent, and I am not suicidal. If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that. I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal. And I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago.
Ultimately, Smollett was sentenced to 150 days in jail, as well as a fine of $150,000. While Jussie Smollett ruined his reputation in order to get more money, what happens when a judge has to physically restrain a convict?
Put it down.
Like in the case of Jacob Larson, who was in Jackson County Court for violating a personal protection order. The hearing was presided over by Judge John McBain, who is known for his no-nonsense judgment.
Bad attitude. You had a bad attitude last time you were in court.
A year ago, Judge McBain had signed off a personal protection order after Larson was accused of stalking a classmate.
You're out there hanging out at her place of employment. You're putting things all over her car. Her managers have got to come in there and ask you to leave.
The terrified victim appeared in court and narrated her ordeal.
I don't even know him, so I just don't understand how he's like so obsessed and like keeps messaging me. I have messages from October 9th after we got out of court, and then I have some from the 23rd.
However, Larson said the woman was responsible for his actions.
She's instigating it though.
Why do you feel that she's instigating?
Cause she's posting pictures and whatnot directed to me. All like a lot of makeup, hair done, all that stuff, like the full nine. She's, subtweeting me and whatnot on Twitter.
Is that true?
I don't have him on Facebook. I don't have him on Twitter. I have him on no social media whatsoever. My Twitter's private.
The defendant then made a ridiculous claim.
I want her to tell me to leave her alone.
You know what? I told you to leave her alone. And apparently that didn't get through loud and clear. So today, you're going to jail for 3 days.
This is when Judge McBain became irate.
You had a bad attitude. You had a bad attitude last time you were in court.
You and her are buddy.
45 days county jail.
Oh.
Okay. 93 days in the county jail. You want to go for a year? Try it right now. One more word out of you, it'll be a year of county.
Over Facebook. Like, really?
93 days in county.
I ain't never threatened
Stand up. Cuff them. Stand up.
Yeah. Buddy more.
Stand up. You're going to a jail for a year in the county. 365 days county jail.
Can't do it.
Appeal it.
I will.
Good. Put your hands behind your back.
After learning his fate, Larson resisted arrest and made an aggressive move toward the victim.
Back up, sir. Sir, back up.
Judge McBain sprang into action. As Larson got into a scuffle with the deputy, the judge removed his black robe and decided to help out.
Tase his ass right now. Tase his right now. Put it down. That's enough for you. All right? Get your tase right.
While Judge McBain initially went up to a year in the heat of the moment, once everything calmed down, Larson was sentenced to 93 days in prison.
Tell me to leave you alone. You can't tell me to leave you alone.
While Jacob Larson got 90 days extra jail time for refusing to cooperate, what happens when a man brings an axe to court? On April 8th, 2024, a man walked into the Cibola County Courthouse wielding an axe. He was later identified as 65-year-old John Carl O'Brien. Upon arriving in court, O'Brien threatened to kill District Court Judge Amanda Sanchez Villalobos. Thankfully, police arrived before he could do any damage.
Put the axe down. Step away from it. Step away from it. Use your hands. On your knees. 106 Regional, send units to myself at the front lobby. Do not move. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? If you move, it will not be good for you. Okay? A-firm.
O'Brien's actions had sent the whole court into lockdown.
All these doors are locked, so just let me know. Keep me updated.
Eventually, O'Brien was arrested and charged with first-degree attempted murder and threatening a judge. He is currently awaiting trial.